what it is, you guys? It's me, Lauren, and as a thank you for 10,000 views, which is very crazy and very overwhelming, I thought it would be fun for me to talk about the characters in House of Anubis, the housemates mostly. I found myself really obsessed with these characters. It kind of slips through in the video. Of course, we know I love Fabian and Nina, but we were very plot-oriented for these videos, and I'm a very character-oriented person. I love characters. I love them so much. And with focusing on the plot, it made me miss talking about the characters, and there were so many times when I was writing the script and when I was filming that I wanted to be like, oh, this moment, blah, blah, blah. So I'm making this video as a thank you for 10,000 views, and because I would like to give you guys some of my thoughts about the characters, because I think there are so many characters that could have had more to them than what they were given. So basically what we're going to discuss is what I liked, what I didn't, and if I thought there could have been more in their story. Compared to season 1. So we're going to go in order of the title sequence, which means our first character is Nina.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm from America.
I'm super biased and I love Nina. Y'all know that. I was never quiet about it in my original plot recap. She's always been my favorite. She's been my favorite forever. So much so that I watched the movie Bratz for Natalia because I love her so much. While I treat all the house members like main characters, it's obvious that Nina is the main one. The plot starts and ends with her. She's the chosen one. The story cannot move without her involvement. Like, everything surrounds her. I know Joy too, but it's really Nina's entrance into this world that makes the plot start going. And I think her focus on the mystery makes a lot of sense considering that this is the whole purpose of the show. But my one issue with her is that I wish she had more interactions with the people around her. I don't really think she's lacking all that much. Some of these people are, but I do think that her friendships are too tied to the mystery. I'd like to see her and Amber picking out dresses, like for prom and stuff. There's like a small moment where Nina asks her for color, but like I'd like to see them go out and shop, or her and Fabian bond over something else they like. I can understand why this is such an issue because these short run times for each episode is 11 minutes at most, but when you're making like 90 11-minute episodes, I think you can show some different plots. And I would say that you need to axe the more boring storylines and build the interpersonal relationships for certain characters. A quick aside here, I think Anubis would have benefited from a smaller main cast. I'm not saying get rid of everybody, but if they aren't meant to add to the main plot and aren't really connected to the main people, and by main people I mean Nina, Amber, Fabian, and Patricia, in a super meaningful way, then they don't need much screen time. That's all. Let's get back to Nina. Otherwise, I think Nina is a very strong character. She's by nature a leader. Sabuna turns to her for guidance. Jerome relies on her when it comes to Rufus. Side note, I do know that Sabuna is technically helping him, but the person he directs his threats to is Nina, and she's often put in the place of leadership, like ordering the food in the episode where they had to stay in the school building because of the rat infestation, and even writing the play. Like, Amber offers her up to write the play. She's also very kind, she's smart, and she's clever. It's hard to find a huge flaw in Nina, which is often something writers do for main characters. I think one thing that I really don't like is that she has to insert her nationality whenever she deems it fit. Every stance that she can bring up that she's American, she brings it up. And that sounds like a cliche thing that Europeans usually complain about Americans with, but it seems that like every time they can point out that she's American, they're going to point it out. She's good through and through, and she follows her morals well, like leaving Sabuna because she was afraid that she was going to hurt more people, or even following what Sarah wanted her to do with the cup, which was hide it and destroy it so no one can ever see it again. Like I said, I think her only negative trait is that she has to insert her nationality wherever she deems fit. But this waxes and wanes, but it was enough for me to get annoyed, and I usually can never be annoyed with her, and I don't really remember it being that big of a deal until I watched it and was writing the script for the original videos. But it just really irks me. But otherwise, I really love Nina. Next we have Fabian. As we know from the video, I love Fabian too. There's something about brown-eyed, brown-hair, bowl-cut men who are nerdy that made my little heart go pitta-pata, pitta-pata. I think Fabian as a character is a good one as well. He is the second most screen time out of all the main characters because he had a lot to do with the main plot. He's also one of the most strangely well-connected people in the show. He is seemingly cool with everyone in Anubis' house. He's close with Mick. He used to be close with Patricia and Joy. It seems like the boys get along pretty well, and even Amber refers to him as her best friend at some point, and it is his uncle who helps him with the pursuit of the treasure. So like he oddly has the most family portrayed in this, which is just quite an interesting thing. Though he's often portrayed as quite timid, when it comes to Nina, he is not afraid. We see this with Victor, Rufus, and Jerome, who have all threatened Nina at some point in the first season, because trust, that man is right behind her, ready to glare his ass off. I think I inserted the picture, or I talked about it in the original video, but when Jerome is threatening Nina after they trap Rufus in the cellar with Victor, Fabian is glaring his ass off. It's amazing. He does it to Victor as well, and especially with Rufus in the last episode where he like grabs Nina to hold her hostage and go to the house, and Fabian's like, leave her. I think it's so iconic. He's also the smart boy of Anubis, making him the brains of the Sabuna operation. He's working to solve the puzzles and is always offering clues. Typically it's Nina and Fabian solving this more than anybody, but it is his brain power that's working a lot. He's always researching. That's how we got a lot of the exposition with the teachers, in a way. If it wasn't Patricia spying on them, it was Fabian, because he's like researching at the school and he always pays attention to stuff because he is nerdy. He's also very kind, and it is his willingness to welcome Nina that changes the minds of everybody minus Patricia, which I think is a really good trait. Like Nina, I don't think there's much to criticize about him, but my one issue is similar to Nina's, and I think it's his lack of interaction with anyone outside of Sabuna, but mostly outside of Nina. One thing I would have loved to see is him interacting with Mick more. Canonically, they're like best friends and they're roommates, so show me that. I think we get glimpses at their closeness, like when Mick is teasing Fabian about asking to Nina, and when the whole bracelet gate happens, but otherwise there's not a lot, and I wish we could have just seen him having more friendship with other people outside of Nina and kept them like kind of will they won't they.
You know you're the one, right? The chosen.
So after Fabian and Nina, I thought I'd combine into Fabina. You guys know this is my number one ship for the show. I love to ship the main girl and the main boy. You know that. You learned that from my Babysitter the Vampire series. In the first season, they spend most of it being will they, won't they, and I really don't hate it. I thought I did, and I really don't. Turns out a lot of my favorite ships are will they, won't they, but I do want to talk about their dynamic, and that's kind of where we're getting this section. Spoilers for season 2, but one of the main issues that plague Fabina is that all of their interactions are Sabuna-based, and this really made me think back to season 1, how much time they spend together, but really only in the sphere of Sabuna. I would like to see them bond over other shared interest other than the main mystery. I can see why this is an issue for them in season 2. Of course, that is a conversation for a later day, though, sometime next year. But I do love them, but I do understand why this is such a big issue. Like, I keep reiterating that, but it's, like, so true. Like, I see why it's a big issue.
Who's the American?
So, surprisingly, Patricia's section is the longest one out of the main 4 characters. It's, like, honestly surprising. I didn't think I'd have a lot to say about her, but I do. Besides Nina, I think Patricia is the most complex character in the show. This emo pixie queen has the plots. She has the plots. Like, she has all of them. Her main plot is figuring out where Joy went, and while it always has been attached to the main mystery, Patricia did not know that it was connected until, like, I'd say about a third into the season, so I'm counting, like, the whole Joy thing as her own plot. Then, when she is brought into the main plot, I think she fits, like, super well. I think all of these characters have a trait that makes them perfect for Sabuna, and hers is her refusal to give up. She would not be convinced of Joy's sudden departure and did everything to prove that she was correct, which it did get proven. It's just still no one believed her. Well, we know why, but, like, that had to be so frustrating. She also gets a lot of interaction with other characters. Mara and her become roommates early into the first season, and they work very well together. They have a lot of moments that show where they're close. Patricia feels comfortable coming to Mara about the Joy situation, and Mara comes to her with all of her boy issues. Her and Alfie also create a bond when it comes to their nightmares, and she plots with Jerome on a few occasions too. The one I remember the most is, like, the initiation for Nina, and in my head, they canonically dated before the show. I said it in the video. I thought they dated and they never did, so I'm saying that they dated before the show. But even then, her status as the mean girl is far more complex than a typical mean girl. She is so defensive because she's in a state of panic. Her best friend is missing, and no one cares. She's not only worried about Joy, but her own safety. I don't think there is much, if anything, for me to criticize about her. From this whole section, I believe that she is by far the most complex character in the whole show, even beating the main character. And though she would still rank under Fabian, I think Patricia is still such a strong character, and what I mean by rank under Fabian is my favorite characters.
Ding dong, round one!
So I have consistently described Amber as more than meets the eye, and I still stand by that. However, I do think that she gets the Cat Valentine treatment, and by that, I mean they take away this quality and make her dumber. I don't think she fully loses her smarts like Kat does, but I think they abandon her love for Sabuna whenever they deem it convenient. She showed early on that her love for Mick was strong, they were dating at the beginning of season 1, and that she wanted to fight for it, but when it came to Sabuna, he was second. She was often ditching dates, hanging out with Nina and Fabian over it. It was like obviously more important to her to be in Sabuna as opposed to being with Mick. However, once Patricia is seriously brought into the group, she's kind of kicked to the curb, which also kind of coincides with her breakup with Mick, where it was once second to Sabuna, it was now her main focus. She's going after student body council and basically tiffing with Mara every chance she gets. And I'm not against her romantic plot lines at all, as I think all characters having a plot outside of the mystery is important, but I wish for Amber she chose to ignore the romance for mystery. I think that before Patricia joined Sabuna, Amber would have, abandoned the romance for the main mystery, but her joining for some reason pushes Amber out. I think going against what is expected would fit her character super well, but they tend to have her going back to old Amber. But all of this does not mean I love her, and that does not mean that she completely forgot about Sabuna. Obviously, she's mentioned a lot through the plot recap. It's just there were gaps in times where it was mostly just Nina and Fabian doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and that was always really confusing because Amber was very much a part of the group. She's the one who created Sabuna, so I just don't understand why she got pushed out. That just really irked me. A lot of you love her, just like I love her, and she's probably topping Fabian for me for being my second favorite character in the show. Another quick aside. So these next characters are the ones that I feel were not used to their greatest potential. There are lots of different reasons for each character, but the overarching thing will be that all of these characters have a defining trait. Nina is the leader, Fabian is smart, Amber is undermined, and Patricia is determined. And I think the same is for these characters, but their defining traits were wasted until too late or just completely entirely.
Mick, you're back!
Someone correctly guessed that I did not think Mick was main character worthy. I'm gonna put the comment up on the screen. It made me giggle, and it's very true. I don't even think he is close to deserving the title, and the fact that he comes before Jerome and Alfie in the title sequence is crazy. I understand it though, his plotline did get a lot of airtime. I don't think there's much I can say positively about Mick. I think he is nice, and he gets along with everyone in the house, and seemingly the school. We don't see a lot of interaction with people who are not in Anubis house. I think his status as the athlete of Anubis could have benefited Sabuna in the adventure. While strength is not exactly needed for everything, I just feel like in situations where more muscle was needed, Mick could have helped, like going up against Rufus or something, because no offense to my king Fabian, but he's honestly not really pulling in on the physicality. Otherwise, I really actually enjoyed his plotline about the athletic camp that he wanted to go to. I think that would have been a good central plot, and I wish it had more emphasis. His plot is more so his weird relationship with Mara. They're constantly on and off throughout the 27 episode run, even longer if you live overseas, and it is just so drab and boring to me. The romance adds a quality for people who might not be interested in the main mystery, because it felt like that got the same amount of screen time, but I just do not see how it was better. It wastes both Mick and Mara in the end.
Only wants me for my brains.
Mara, my sweet. The wasted potential in Mara makes me so mad. I think she's the main reason I wanted to make this video, because I love Mara. Even if I would prefer to knock her out of the main character status, I do like her as a character, and I think it's because I like how her actress speaks. It's so soft-spoken and nice. I just think she's adorable. Mara is the smart girl of Anubis. She's smarter than Fabian, and is probably the smartest girl in the whole school, and she is wasted. She's wasted. All Miss Mara is treated as is a love interest for the sidemen of Anubis. When she's not being paired with Mick, she's being paired with Jerome. I did not bring that up in the recap video, but yeah, she's... It's a huge waste. Her character is where I started to hate the romance of the show and wish there was actually, like, none. Even Fabina, knock it out of the park, no romance. Mara gets the plots of dating Mick, breaking up with Mick, flirting with Jerome, and running for student body president. Mara's closeness with Patricia and smarts would have been so helpful in the main mystery, if you honestly ask me. While I understand that the plot had to drag at times because they had, so many fucking episodes, Mara could have helped figure out the clues and solved random puzzles, maybe a little faster or a little easier with the help of Fabian. I don't know. I mean, heck, even Jerome helped solve a puzzle before he knew it was a puzzle. Like, why would you give that to Jerome and not Mara? Instead, she's reduced to a lover girl, and I guess I wouldn't have minded the romance between her and Mick if it wasn't her main plotline. She revolves around Mick, everything she does. She's helping him study. She's helping him train. She's standing up to his dad. She's dating him. I genuinely find it so hard to believe that she passes the Bechdel test. Because all she does is talk about Mick. She is all about Mick. While Mick's main plot is also Mara, it's kind of a slap in the face to me when their whole romance is the main plot for both of them, because her devotion is so one-sided for so long. When he's dating Amber, he even badmouths her. She's my Roman Empire. She's my Anubis Roman Empire. There's so much more they could do with Mara, and I'm only just starting season 2 up again, so I hope that she finally gets to join. I can't wait to see more of her outside of fucking Mick. I could sit here forever. And think about how mishandled she is. You want to talk about mishandled female characters? Mara is right fucking there.
What are you grinning at?
Just happy to be alive.
So from the video, it seemed like I hate Jerome. I actually might. I don't hate him nearly as much as I hate Mick, but I don't think I like him because he is a jerk through and through. It seems Alfie is the only one who truly likes Jerome, and while no one really ignores him in the house, he's constantly pranking the other house members and is outright rude, even to Alfie. And I do think that's kind of what makes him a strong member for Sabuna. He's quick with his lies, and he's very manipulative, and he's also a bit charming. We see his manipulation a lot with Rufus and Alfie. With Alfie, he's able to convince him that he knows more than Alfie originally thought he knew. This is just by simply listening to them talking. He sheds this mask the closer he gets to feeling the wrath of Rufus, but he never really shows it to other people. Sure, he threatens Nina, but there's also manipulation in that too, because he throws their threat back into his face. He also successfully convinces Rufus that he's still on his side after they tried to get him caught by Victor, and that he knows a lot more than he actually does. And I think that his skills are wasted until it was too late. By the time he joined Sabuna, most of their sneaking around was over, and they had been caught by Victor time and time again, and they could have used Jerome's ability to lie, which is also an ability that the writers forgot that he had, because in the first episode, or the first 2 episodes, when they're caught in Victor's office getting the key, he's totally dumbfounded and doesn't fucking know what to lie about. I think his sneakiness would have helped them hide so much, especially in the early days. The fact that he joins in the last 6 or 7 episodes is quite crazy. I also understand, though, that Victor and the Society knowing adds a layer of tension that benefits Sabuna and the show, so I get why he was added so late.
It's not like
So our last character is Alfie. We're not going to talk about Joy. We're going to end it on Alfie. I think Alfie is actually very underrated, at least in season 1. I don't know how a lot of people feel about him. I've heard a lot of people talk about Nina and Amber in my comment section. Alfie is the class clown, and everyone in Anubis likes him because his pranks are pretty harmless as compared to Jerome's. He is sweet and a bit of a himbo, which I feel like the girlies would love. Alfie's also insanely loyal. Once he gets the okay to join Sabuna, he's hell-bent on proving that he can be trusted. And while him not telling Jerome their secrets can be seen as unloyal to Jerome, I think Alfie standing up and not falling to his manipulation proves he keeps loyalty high in his morals. Alfie joins Sabuna way late in the game as well. If I remember correctly, both him and Jerome join well after the halfway point of the season. Alfie a little bit sooner than Jerome, but anyways, it's in the last 8 to 7 episodes. It's crazy. And while I can't make a great argument for his inclusion in Sabuna, I think that his loyalty secures him a place altogether. He actively proves that he is more than willing to make sure that the secrets stay protected and refuses to let anything get in the way of that. I also think his plot with liking Amber is cute. He messes up so often because he so badly wants to prove that he is good for her. Though I would prefer Alfie to be further in the title sequence, I get why he isn't. Until his poisoning, his main focus is Amber, and he barely gets any screen time. It's kind of jarring because he goes from getting barely any screen time to suddenly being very important. And I guess I just would have preferred that he gets a storyline about finding his own strength outside of Jerome in place for Mara and Mick's story and his obsession with Amber. Apparently, I am the #1 Mara and Mick hater. I would have preferred Amber at least show some reciprocation without all of the guilt, because she only really starts showing him any affection after Fabina accidentally poisons him with the elixir. And I don't know. These one-sided romances are not for me, even though I'm a big Sethan shipper. In conclusion, I think that like all ensemble shows, House of Anubis suffers from not giving everyone their time to shine. I think this could have been avoided by not having all of the house members be main characters. Mara, Mick, Jerome, and Alfie could all benefit from being side characters, or I would have preferred them being a part of the main mystery. That's really what I would have preferred. I also, I guess, would prefer that Mick not be there at all. But I think the writers have defined these characters by certain traits that make them perfect members for Sabuna, and they are fucking wasted. While others are written fine, the other half... Jerome and Alfie do join the main plot, but super late into the show, while Mick and Mara never do. I understand the reasons. Sabuna is operating very privately, so why would anyone notice, except they get caught so many times. Like, so many times. So many times. They're so bad at keeping secrets. I can deal with Jerome and Alfie coming in late, but I'd rather not spend much time on Mick and Mara if they are basically useless to the plot. And I'm sorry I didn't have more to say about Amber, Nina, and Fabian. I feel like the writers did not feel like making them super fleshed out because they got the most screen time. But I do love them though, so in my eyes they do no wrong, and I think that they're good characters already on their own. I just wish all of them would have had more interaction outside of Sabuna, which Amber does. That wasn't one of my main issues with her. Anyway, thank you for 10,000 views. Truly finding the Anubis community has been wonderful. I love checking my email to new comments from you guys and you guys just interacting with this video. This is my first 10,000 views ever, and I'm very floored. I'm so floored. The first successful video I ever had was the driver's license one, and even then, watching this one go up and up and up has just been crazy. Again, I won't release season 2's recap until next year. I'm still moving and won't be able to, but I wanted to drop this special treat for all you lovers of Anubis. Also, the small love that the vampire series is receiving is touching too. It's been out for a year now, and it's just like hitting 500 views. So that's fucking crazy. I'm so glad all of you are here, and I can't wait to bring more content to you. So thank you for watching.